Hi, I've never done this before. I wanted to touch on a subject that is kind of sad, but it affects many women. Um, Many women that have lost their children to foster care or other relatives, and they're struggling to get sober. So I just wanted to touch on my story a little bit. I was raised by parents that were addicted to drugs and alcohol, and it was a rough childhood. I had to become the parent, and I never wanted to do anything in the world to hurt my own children. When I was 21, I decided that I was ready to be a mom. And I really thought I was. It was the happiest time of my life being pregnant with him. It was miserable, but I had him on April 4th. So 4/4/04 at 4:14 in room 4 in Grossmont Hospital in San Diego, La Mesa, San Diego. And I just cherished him. I used to go to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. I would go home and take care of him, clean the house, make dinner. And I started drinking heavily when I left my partner, who was very abusive, drug addict, very abusive. I tried to support him in any way I could, and which was just my insecurities flared up, and I ended up with someone just like my mother and father. Insulted me, called me names. But anyway, so when Adrian was about 3 years old, we lived in Carmel Valley. We had a very nice place. I was doing really good. I was a certified home health aide and a certified nurse's assistant. And I was just doing so good. When I was a teenager, I would drink a lot. And I was not proud of who I was back then, so I wanted to change. My worst fear was that I would become an addict like my parents and then screw my children over. And it happened. My best friend used to come over and bring a bottle of light rum, a huge handle of it, and she would say, "Let's do shots." And we were both working. She was a LVN, a vocational nurse, and she would come over after work and we would get drunk and we would not play with our kids and we would just let them play together. They were the same age. So anyways, when he turned 4, I was 25, and I don't know what I was thinking. I tried cocaine and ended up doing meth, and I really, it's very hard to talk about. My aunt ended up, after 6 months of him being in foster care and living with my grandma, my aunt finally got custody of him. He was 4 years old. We celebrated his 4th birthday with me, with balloons and cake and presents, and then that was it. I was on my own. Without him, I lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. I was already addicted to, we're born with this disease, and I mean, meth is just disgusting. People do gross things. They look demonic when they're doing it. They creep around and their face is sucked in, and I just surrounded myself with people that were dangerous and gross, and I did so many things that I regret, but losing my child was the most painful thing I could ever in life for anyone. Losing a child He was very much alive, but to me, it felt like I was suffering a death because I wasn't allowed to see him. I didn't see him for 7 years. And when I came back, I promised I would be clean. And I started abusing pills, and the loss of a child when we're in our disease, we just have to believe that we're going to see them again, that one day when we get clean, we're going to be a part of their life. And I became a part of his life, but I screwed him over again. I disappointed him again. I let him down time and time and time again, and then I had 2 more children. And I got addicted to meth again. I was so happy with my 2 children. And then I ended up having a psychosis. For a year, I was in a total psychosis. I thought I could hear my child. I was in so much pain. I just couldn't find myself. And I know so many women out there going through this, but we do recover and we do get our children back. But we can't just avoid the program. We can't avoid people. We need support. We need help. I call help support, because you can't really help anybody unless they want to help themselves. And once they start helping themselves, then we're basically supporting them. So my goal, my dream is to open a center where women, mothers, can come and recover and get support and have like real therapists and learn how to become someone after you've lost a child, because they're out there and that bond is not broken. Once we have a child, we have a bond with them. We have the intuition if something's wrong. And when we're not with them, we learn to ignore those feelings. And it's just really sad. Just really sad. And I've just seen so many girls that have lost their kids. And a judge told me when I got my 2 little ones back, he said only 10% of women that lose their children get them back. 10%. That means 90% of the children that have mothers that are addicted or need change and need recovery. Once you lose your child, you don't want any of that. You just want to be numb. You don't want to feel the pain. But I had to pull myself through that pain so I could be present for my 2 younger children. And now I have them back and I'm raising them. But when that judge told me only 10% of kids go back to their moms, I thought about all the kids out there that miss their mommy so much. I know when my mom was in her addiction, I used to cry every night because I missed her. When I was 11, I had to choose to move out. She was blaming me for everything and calling me names and just really cruel. So I moved in with the relatives. I passed around from relative to relative. I never really felt secure. And that's how these kids feel when they don't have their mother. So we need to get back in their lives. It's important. And I just wanted to spread the message that if we recover, we will be back in their lives one day. Thanks for listening.